India have posted 225 for 8 after being asked to bat in the first ODI against Australia. Is it enough? Is it not enough? We'll talk about this in this show, The Outside View Live. I have with me Ananya, Upendran. Soniya, Dabir will join us soon. Ananya, your first thoughts, 225 for 8. Didn't seem as if India would cross 200 at one point, but how comfortable are you with this score?
Well, like you said, I didn't think India would reach 225 at that 40 over mark. It looked like they may struggle to get maybe 215 at the most, but it was a fantastic partnership at the back end between a debutant and a senior pro. The two Bengal players came together. Jhulan Goswami kind of shepherded her young charge through that later stage, and I think Richa Ghosh was outstanding. She came out and I think played the way that everyone expected her to play, the way that she's been playing through the T20s, and this is the reason India kind of picked her ahead of Tanya Bhatia. It was for her batting that she was picked. So for her to come out, score an unbeaten 30 odd and hit a really impressive six down the ground was very exciting to see. So I think India have something to bowl at, but they'll have to be outstanding with the ball to kind of challenge that Australian side.
Yeah, a wicketkeeper batter who can double up as a finisher is something that was in the memo when they kind of keyed in Richa Ghosh in the ODIs for the Australia tour and then gave her a debut in the very first ODI. She seemed to have ticked all those boxes, I mean, at least in the first half of the innings.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she's done exactly what India would have wanted her to do with the bat, play an explosive innings, kind of give them some momentum towards the end. It's something that India have been lacking for a while. You've seen innings in the past kind of splutter to a close. We haven't really been able to find the boundary, accelerate towards the end, but that's exactly what Richa Ghosh did coming in. She just played explosively in the way India would have wanted her to play. But again, I think the bigger challenge with Richa will be how she does with the gloves. Her batting prowess, I think, has never been in doubt. We know, or she's shown through her T20 career, that she belongs at the international level as a batter. But the challenge will be how she does with the gloves, because this is 50 overs, and it's going to take a toll, I think, on her legs and her back for sure.
From what we've seen so far, 225 for 8. Where do you see this score? Purely based on the first half of the first ODI?
Look, I think, like I said, it's more than I thought India would get, but again, probably not enough to challenge that Australian batting side. I think, it may not be enough, because you look at that top six, the likes of Lanning, Healy, Haynes, Perry, that there are people who score, I mean, a lot of runs. So I think 225 against Australia is probably not enough. And like I said, India will have to be very, very clinical with the ball and also take every single chance that comes their way.
225 for 8. Let's talk about Australia's bowling before we get down to India's batting, talking about India's batting more. 4 of those 8 wickets were picked by Darcie Brown, 4 wickets for 33 runs, her best in ODIs. In fact, her first ever wickets tally in ODI cricket. She's playing her second ODI. How impressive was Darcie Brown, Ananya?
She was exceptional. I think, the fact that she kind of overshadowed Elise Perry in that first half was incredible. I think she bowled not just with pace, but she bowled with such great accuracy, kind of didn't give the Indians too many opportunities to score early on. And she continued that through her spell as well. She was fast. She played the role of the enforcer, just as Australia would have wanted her to, bowling short pitch deliveries, kind of ruffling up the Indian batters. But again, I think it was that accuracy, the change-ups, and it was just like too hard, I think, for the Indians. I mean, she rushed them for pace. You saw Pooja Vasrakar kind of rushed into a few pull shots as well. So she was very, very good. Didn't look like she was just playing her second ODI. She looked like she was probably in her 30th or 40th, like a very seasoned pro. So it was great to see her pick up wickets. And I think, going into the test match or into a year where there are a couple of World Cups as well. I think Australia's pace depth is just through the roof right now.
4 wickets for 33. She still had 1 over to go. How disappointed must she be to not have been given that 1 over to complete that fifer?
Yeah, well, I'm sure she would have been disappointed, but I guess it was about managing how with Australia, there's always workload management and all these things that come into the picture, but there's also the fact that, had they wanted her to bowl out, I think they should have bowled her out before the 42nd over. She has admitted in the past or over the last couple of years that death bowling is not necessarily her strong suit. So, Australia may have wanted to bowl her out earlier in the innings. And, once the 42nd over came, you wouldn't have seen them throwing the ball to her because, again, it's not her strength. You don't want her to unnecessarily get carded for runs. But I guess with the 5th wicket on the line, I'm sure she'll be slightly, maybe a little peeved.
You talked about in the pre-match show about her matchup with Shafali Verma. It currently reached Shafali 0, Darcie Brown 1.
Yeah, well, again, it was the short ball again. Not necessarily the best ball that Darcie Brown has bowled in the day, but I think it was that short ball that kind of forced her into, cramped her for room, and she gloved it down the leg side. I think all of us were kind of looking forward to watching Darcie Brown take on Shafali Verma, and starts off with Darcie 1. Let's see if Shafali comes back in the next couple of games.
Yeah, true that. 225 for 8. We now have Soniya Dabir joining us. Soniya, 225 for 8. It's below your prediction of 250. And there have been very few occasions or very few people who got their predictions right on our show. But your thoughts on that score and how good a score or how bad a score that is?
I guess I won't say that score is actually bad, because looking at the way Julan is bowling currently, she was absolutely brilliant in England. Even Meghna Singh is an option they have, and I just wanted to say one thing for sure, that they could have got a bit more score if they would have sent Richa Ghosh ahead of Pooja Vastrakar. Because ideally she is a proper batsman who plays for Bengal, keeper batsman. So sending her lower down after her, I can understand maybe for that acceleration thing, they must have sent her a bit later and Pooja ahead of her. But as per the score goes, definitely it is, I won't say that it is a bad score, but it is a competitive score, I feel that.
Yeah, 225 for 8, and one of the stars of this Indian innings for some time now has been Mithali Raj, hasn't she? 61 runs of 107 ball. Sonia, your first thoughts on that innings and how she paced it?
It was actually nothing new what she's done. I guess she's been doing this pretty regularly. But I still feel that she should come at number 3, because when you have Smriti, a lefty batsman over there, then I think Mithali should have come at number 3. They should have. They have the option of keeping that lefty and righty combination going on with Yastika in the side. So that is one thing I would really want to say. And about Mithali's innings, it was really amazing innings, and it was very nice to see her, the way she paced her innings, using the feet later on, and lofting those bowlers back or over covers. It was really good to see that aggression in her side, when even though the wickets were not, there was little support for her, but she was definitely showing that aggression today. I mean, yeah. As I said, she's been doing that regularly. Just another day for her.
Yeah, true. Ananya, we saw her use her feet, as Sonia mentioned, against spin. That's a separate story, that not most of them went to the boundaries. And I kind of thought at that point, if the outfield was slow, but Mithali seemed to be in her groove against spinners. But a strike rate of 57, I know it's almost like criticizing your sole breadwinner, but your thoughts on how that entire innings shaped up?
Look, I think, as the innings went along, she picked up her rate. She was striking at 30, I think, for her first 27 balls. So it comes down to the fact that she's coming in at number 4 with her side 38 for 2. You'd rather, again, her coming in at 38 for 1 or 10 for 1 or whatever it is, and then shepherding her innings, because she has the ability to accelerate once she gets in. So just giving her the opportunity to maybe play at a strike rate of 30, 40 in the first 15, maybe 20 overs, and pick up later on, because that's what she has done through her career. So I think, just shifting her around that order makes a bit more sense. It will also allow her to, or maybe it'll allow everyone to stop talking about that strike rate when it comes to her, because she always comes in with maybe 30, 35 overs left. And by the time she starts to accelerate, it's the 40th over. So you'd like to see her maybe come in, give herself an opportunity to even get 100. Not that she didn't have an opportunity today, but just give herself more time, I think. So, whenever you talk about Mithali Raj and strike rates, no one's ever going to be happy. But look, like you said, she's the sole breadwinner right now. So I guess you have to be happy with what you get.
Yeah, most of the Indians won't be complaining because she's scoring runs. She's helping India get to those 200 plus scores. Yes, the target's 250 and above, but 225 for 8 is still better than a 150 or 170. But 61 runs from 107 balls. But one of the big stands of this innings so far has been that 77-run partnership she struck with Yastika Bhatia. And then that was a different kind of a partnership, because there was hesitation between them in terms of running between the wickets. But your thoughts on how the debutant Yastika Bhatia fared in that partnership?
I was actually quite pleasantly surprised with the way Yastika Bhatia played. I mean, within the domestic circuit, we know her as someone who can play the anchor role, someone who can bat for long periods. She's technically very sound, knows how to score runs, but just the approach that she came out with, I think she was happy to go for her shots. She looked very comfortable, and like Rachel Haynes said on air, she seemed to have a presence at the crease, which for an Australian to say is a huge compliment, especially for someone on debut. But I was pleasantly surprised with the way she went about her innings. So it was nice to see her come in and look very, very comfortable at that number 3 spot. But again, she kind of slowed down, maybe was a little starved of the strike through the middle periods. And I think that's actually been one of the issues with India, where it seems like batters seem to get stuck at one end. So they don't rotate strike enough. There's the bowlers aren't challenged, especially when there's a left-right combination. When you rotate strike, it involves bowlers kind of having to shift their lines and things like that. And we saw that with Elise Perry, where she kind of got put off when she had to change between the left and right handers. So very, very impressed with Yastika Bhatia, and hopefully this is the start of a long career for her.
Indeed, and quite a few people pointed this out. Mithali Raj made her debut in 1999, and Yastika Bhatia was born in 2000s. But it also tells us how long Mithali has been playing. But how good was Yastika Bhatia on debut, Sonia?
Oh, she was really fantastic. I mean, I have seen, honestly, I've never seen her play in domestic. This is the first time I'm watching her play, and she looked really comfortable. And it didn't feel like it was her debut match. She was that comfortable, going for your shots from ball 1, and she had that intent to score runs. She was very comfortable pulling the shot, hitting square of the wicket, and even stepping out. So that intent, I think she's had amazing start to the career. And as rightly said by Ananya, this is just a start, long way to go.
So far, it's been a game of the debutants. Yastika scoring 35, Richa Ghosh an unbeaten 32. But going over to the Australian side, Darcie Brown, not the debutant, but the second ODI for her, 4 wickets, and Hannah Darlington 2 for 29. Ananya Keir brought in as for her first game, replacing Nicola Carey. Probably didn't expect, at least I didn't expect her to make her ODI debut before T20 debut. But her change, she seemed as if she's someone who's very experienced.
She did, and she's been the same way through the WBBL as well. I mean, you watched her through the WBBL and thought, this girl cannot be a teenager. I mean, she's bowling at the death against very, very highly accomplished batters, and bowling and holding herself with such poise, bowling with such confidence. So I think her debut today, she was extremely impressive. And Mel Jones tweeted it as well, that she looks like she's in her 50th ODI and not her first. So very impressive. And look, she took a lot longer to get her first wicket than I thought she would, because she was shaping the ball in nicely, really attacking the stumps. And I thought she would get her first wicket maybe in her first 3 overs. Took a little longer, but extremely impressive. And her change-ups, just the discipline that she showed today. Not, I think she bowled 1 wide, or not even a single wide, I don't remember. But just that discipline was exceptional. And hope again. We didn't expect it, but it was like for like. Nicola Carey went out. They needed a death bowler, so in came Hannah Darlington.
Yeah, Australia won the toss and opted to bowl first, and the start wasn't wasn't as per order. Soniya, Ellis Perry looked a bit off color for starters, extras galore. In the first 16 overs or 19 overs, they bowled 16 or 19 extras. So Ellis Perry didn't look in the best of forms with the ball for the first ODI. I think do you think it's because of the lack of game time behind her?
I feel so, because also because of the righty lefty combination, because she was definitely swinging the ball. But as I said, there was that lefty and righty combination, and especially when Shefali was attacking, started that boundary in almost the second ball or the third ball. Even Smriti, for that matter. So that may be the reason she was a bit hesitant, like bowling here on both sides of the wicket. And definitely, as you said, that the time gap between ODIs might be the thing which she is feeling right now. And I feel also the lefty and righty combination, and more to that, both the batsmen were attacking. It was not that only Shefali was playing her shots, even Smriti was attacking her. So that maybe have added a bit of pressure to her as well.
Ananya, very Ellis Perry like, an economy of 9.25, just the 4 overs, yes, but in a 50-over contest, she just bowled 4 overs, quite Perry like.
I guess so, but you've also got to take into consideration she's coming off 14 days of hard quarantine, didn't train as much, also didn't bowl that much in the previous ODI series. So, she hasn't, I suppose, while she has been training, her bowling workloads in a game haven't been that high, at least since her hamstring injury. So there are a lot of things to take into consideration when you look at Perry's analysis. But look, I was very impressed with the amount of swing she was getting. It was something that was missing after that 2019 Ashes, I think. She hasn't been bowling with that same, I suppose, the venom. So to see that swing was fantastic. And I think if she gets her lines right in the next couple of ODIs, she could really, really trouble Smriti Mandhana, who doesn't really have an on drive. And I think if she does get her lines right, India could be in trouble early.
Right, 225 for 8, 226 to win the first ODI for Australia and their 25th successive game in the format. Now time for India with the ball. Ananya, Meghna Singh on debut, what can we expect?
Well, so far it has been a game for the debutant, so she'll be hoping that she can carry that forward and do well in her first game. Hopefully get a couple of early wickets, because that's what will give India a sniff. If they don't break that opening partnership, I think in the first 8 to 10 overs, it's going to be quite difficult for them to get back into the game. So she is someone who's going to get swing early, regardless of the conditions, and bowls very, very good lines. Mithali Raj has captained her through her domestic career in the last few years, so she'll know what fields to set. I'm sure Meghna will be comfortable with any fields that she sets. So I'm looking forward to seeing how she bowls, especially to someone like Alyssa Healy.
Yeah, Jhulan Goswami has Meghna Singh and Pooja Vastrakar. Sonia, how do you see Jhulan bowl in this innings?
I feel Jhulan has got so much experience. She knows, what exactly has to be done over there. And I think because of her spell, Pooja and Meghna will be a bit comfortable bowling there in their own comfortable zone, as they are as I said, that Jhulan is aware in this situation what she has to do and how that will be her spell, will be kind of a guidance to Meghna and Pooja Vastrakar, I feel. And as rightly said by Ananya, it will be definitely a bit tougher for them to get those initial breakthroughs. But again, Mithali knows Meghna so well that she is captain in her domestic side. So she'll definitely make use of that experience, Meghna, as well. Bowling under Mithali, she will definitely use that experience to her for the debut match.
Right. These days, there's been an increased focus on India's pace bowling attack, but you talk about India, the spin is always in focus. Sonia, based on what you watched in the first innings, Georgia Wareham, Ashley Gardner, as well as Sophie Molyneux, how do you see Poonam Yadav, Sneha Rana, and Deepti Sharma fare?
It will be very interesting to see Poonam Yadav. She's been not in wickets that much of late, as we saw in the T20s as well. Of course, one day is a different ball game altogether, but it will be definitely interesting how they play her in the ODIs. Now that they know what kind of bowler she is, it will be interesting from Australia's point of view how they play her, because I guess in the T20 World Cup in 2000, currently, I mean, I don't remember which place.
2020, yeah.
Yeah, 2020. Bangladesh had made up different tactics that they didn't step out to Poonam Yadav. They were playing her on the back foot. So again, it will be very interesting to see how Poonam Yadav, because she is a bowler who has amazing control on the line and length, and also she varies her flight brilliantly. So it will be a good thing to watch. That will be a good contest. And of course, Deepti Sharma, she is a bowler who has amazing control over again line and length, and she just keeps on bowling. So combination of Dipti and Poonam will be interesting to see. Of course, there is Sneha Rana, but these two, I feel, will have a different impact altogether.
Right, 226 to win. Your final thoughts? What could happen and who could star in this part of in the run chase?
Run chase, I feel Lanning is there. There's Alisa Healy for Australia, and for India, I guess Julan should be the key bowler. I feel, because her spell is very crucial to start off with.
Indeed, we saw Mithali Raj, one of the pros, start in the first half. Will Julan Goswami do it in the second? And will India stop Australia from registering their 25th ODI win on the trot? Seems unlikely at this point. Let's see what happens in the post-match show on the Outside View Live.
Yeah.